late today. Let's talk about global cooling. Some hacks, some climate frauds have been talking about how the planet's warming because of carbon dioxide, and that the Arctic would be ice-free, and that Florida would be largely covered with water by the year 2000 or something like that. I started studying climate science in the late 1980s, 1987 or 1988, definitely that year, when I took 8th grade earth science, and I've been following it ever since. In any case, there is sea ice, and you see those red areas, those red areas are 4.5 meters of ice or more. So while we're at kind of low levels here, we're more than one standard deviation above the 30-year average, which would be this light gray line here, medium gray line, I guess. The black line is the current situation. A little bit of ice building going on right now, but you can see it's within the range we saw last year and so on. Lots of ice around the east coast of Greenland, I might add. And the nonsense about Greenland being ice-free or melting is total nonsense. We've covered it repeatedly on the channel, showing that it's had 5 meters of snow from coast to coast all summer. Now let's talk about snow. Snow seems to be one of the mechanisms that causes Earth to turn into a snowball globe Earth. And if you look, practically everything south of the 40-degree line and everything north of the 40-degree line and literally everything north of the 30-degree line, except for the British Isles, are completely snow-covered. Also, I would note, does it look like Antarctica is melting, folks? Look at all the sea ice. It's summertime down there. So there's the snow cover. Here's the snow mass, the snow water equivalent, and look at how it's well above 1 standard deviation above normal. Here's the snow extent tracker, which has now moved back into the normal range. It's actually kind of right in the middle of the range there, having been all over the place this year. And last but not least, the snow mass balance. So this doesn't include mountains, but you can see we're well over 1 standard deviation above normal snow mass balance for the entire northern hemisphere. That's the 30-year average there, that blue shaded in area. Apparently the planet is so hot that it's cold. Now, one of the major canaries in the coal mine of how hot the planet is whether or not the Thames freezes in winter. And I've been saying since, 1987, that if we see the Thames freeze, that's pretty serious. Well, there it is. The Thames is frozen. Now that is located at Teddington. And I'm just going to leave that on the screen for a moment to let that sink in. The Thames has frozen. Is that because the North Atlantic Oscillation has shut down? I don't think so. I think it's because it's very cold in England. You can find this article at cityam.com. When Fulwell freezes over, Thames turns to ice for first time in 60 years. Will we have an Elfstedentocht in Netherlands? I don't know. Hopefully their canals will freeze and they can perform their Tour de France of speed skating, the 11-city tour, the Elfstedentocht, which has not happened for decades either. I'm hoping it happens because it's awesome. Let's move into